Ich träume und die Welt.
Okay, guys, we're back in the game. We got Healshot here with his Rune Priest, which is Runeshot. So, we're gonna go through this interview we promised you for Sunday. I can see everything is running okay, I assume. Voices, microphones, Discord, everything. So, I have here Healshot with me on comms for our usual Sunday interview. I'm gonna start right now, guys. Thank you, Healshot, for being here with me this Sunday for the interview. And
Well, I
also
appreciate it.
thank everybody for being here to watch it. So let's start with a couple of basic questions that cover the basics, so to speak. Where are you from?
Oh, well, my name is John. I'm from the United States. I live in North Carolina, and I was born and raised here in North Carolina.
Okay. Most people reply something like Canada or Greece. You went a bit far out, but that's good because I would have done the same thing, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, the U.S. is big. You got to get specific, man.
I know the big. Trust me, I have a lot of issues with your time zones as well. So, as far as I know, you play both sides, right?
Yeah, I played both sides. When I was playing on live, I played mostly on Destro, but it's always nice to play on the other side with Order. So I took advantage of the 2 times event and leveled up the Rune Priest.
So, why do you play both sides? I mean, like, because you want something different. We have people that do it because they want something different, because they like balancing the server. They look where's the least people and then they log into it, or you just like playing, all characters.
Well, for me, it's about community. You've got certain people on stream that are like, man, I wish I could play with you, but, all my characters are on Order. Well, this way, because I like healing, I can play on both sides at any time I want. So let's say I got a bunch of people in chat that are like, oh, yeah, I really want to run some scenarios or something, and, but I play Order. I have that opportunity to play with them no matter what, because, as both of us are streamers, it's all about being interactive, and it would kind of stifle that interaction with my crowd and my audience and with the community of Warhammer as a whole, especially here on Return of Reckoning, if I didn't have, one character on both sides that I could play.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to level up my Magus as well. I'm starting to see that through the stream, you do need to have people on both sides. It's not enough. So you play healers, right?
Yeah, I exclusively, like, what I excel in whenever I play MMOs, but specifically for Warhammer, I enjoy healing because they're the unsung heroes, just like the tanks are in any group situation. If you have really good healers, nobody really notices. If you have really good tanks, nobody really notices because, everybody's focused on DPS.
Mm. So, you played in live the same classes? You still played healers, or?
Yeah, I played healers. I mained a shaman on Badlands with the guild Zen of Onslaught. I made it to be a statue in the good old IC. So I was in the top 10 United States healers in the game when it was live.
Okay. I played the Destro on live, so sweet. Sorry, I'm trying to read what OG is saying on the chat as well. Okay, there's a question for him. So it says, what has been both of your highlights in Return of Reckoning, as in best/worst/epic moments?
Well, for me, probably the worst would have to be basically when the server has huge lag spikes, because, that's not fun for anybody. And because it's a private server and it's ran by a dedicated, talented group of people, you're not going to have the same service you have at live. But, I get it. It's something we have to deal with. But that's pretty much the only bad experience I've had, other than, random internet stuff like we always deal with, and chat and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm having the same issue most. It was a broken game. It's getting better, but definitely we're gonna go through the ups and downs and the flaming and all the rest that come with it. Like the whole issue now with the guard.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: you have a Rune Priest here on Order side that you play with, and I know you have a Shami on the other side. Do you have a Zealot as well?
Yes, I also have a Zealot.
So I know you play Rune Priest on this side, so I'm gonna ask you just for this character. Do you think that like the counterpart of the Rune Priest, which is the Zealot, is better, worse, the same? Because there's always an issue between people saying, oh, Zealot is better than the Rooney, and Zealot says better the other way around. So, what's your opinion as a player that actually plays these classes?
Well, for me, honestly, they're mirrored pretty well. There's definitely more distinct gameplay styles with both classes because they both offer certain weaknesses and strengths. But for me, I think playing the Rune Priest, it doesn't offer as much mobility for some reason. That's what it feels like, but it's not. It's they have this pretty much the same kind of mobility, but I don't know. I feel more mobile when I'm on order because I feel like order pushes more. So I feel like I'm able to be more reactive with my healing and be able to move a lot more with my healing. Whereas the Zealot, it feels very stationary. It feels like they have a lot of it feels like the cooldowns take a little bit longer to get your good rotation going. But it also, I think you adapt to who you play with, and I think when I play with people on order side, they're a little bit more aggressive than the people that are on the destruction side, at least in the tiers that I've been playing.
Right. Okay. So if somebody would ask you right now, I'm a new player to the game, and I want to make a healer, would you say Zealot or Rune Priest?
Well, it just depends on what side they want to play. For me, I think it's easier to pick up the Rune Priest because the Zealot, I don't know, it can be intimidating at first with some of the wording on some of the things, and with the Rune Priest, it's more upfront and you know what it does and you do it. And I don't know, it's just easier I guess, from a lore perspective, to really get into Rune Priest, whereas the Zealot, it takes you a while to get into the whole dark fantasy side of the class and how the class plays. Throwing out your potions and calling on Zinch and stuff like that. So I think it's easier to relate to a Rune Priest. I think that's what it is.
I see. So if you had to play another class as a main, not a healer, right?
Mm-hmm.
From both sides, I'm not gonna restrict you to that. What class would that be?
It'd probably be a tank. I've been recently dabbling with tanks. I never played them on live, but I've also played tanks in other MMOs, and I see where tanks can set the tone as much as a healer can set the tone in a group, and I kind of like the leadership position that you get as being a tank. You're setting the tone of battle. If you're not pushing, the melee DPS and the range DPS can't do their job because in order for the whole flow of battle to continue, you have to have a tank that can set that tone.
Okay, so which tanks have you tried? Have you tried both sides or?
Oh yeah, I've tried both sides. I've tried the Black Orc, I've tried the Swordmaster, I've tried the Knight of the Burning Sun, and I wanted to try Chosen, but I kind of wanted to stay away from Chosen because I already had the Zealot. So I wanted to play something a little bit different, so I went with Black Orc. So I'm learning the ways of the Black Orc right now.
Good luck with that. Yeah, I'm saying that because I had the Black Orc as well. I had like 7 or 8 level 40s, and I deleted them all for other reasons. It's not for the time to discuss that. But my problem with the Black Orc was the fact that you have to do skill 1 to light up skill 2. And then you have to do skill 2 to get to skill 3. There's like a leveling on the skills. So if you miss the rotation there, it was a bit of a nightmare for me to pay attention to what flashes on my bar and what doesn't. That's why I said good luck to you. So, yeah. So as a person, as a player, not as a person, as a player, would you say that you are a player that prefers open RVR or scenarios more? And why, of course? I'm a scenario person.
Yeah, I'm a scenario person as well. Open RVR is well and good, but you don't really get to work on your mechanics as a player as much in Open RVR because there's literally hundreds of people on the screen fighting at once. and you can't really get to the meat of who you are as a player and figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are being an open RVR. Eventually, yes, you could with being with a I don't know how to describe it, like a more robust warband that's not a pug. Then you could work on your skills that way. But with how the game is right now, I think scenarios are where you fine tune your character, and that's where you grow and bond as a player basis in those scenarios.
Hmm. So, okay, you said that you prefer scenarios, right? But do you do also warbands or six mans or solo? Or you just do scenarios and that's it?
Oh no! I do scenarios. I do war bands. I do six mans, four mans, three mans. I pretty much just want to play with as many people as I can because this game is social. It's built to be social. It's not meant to be solo all the time. Like solo is there for when you want to do extra things with yourself and you just want to like have a fun time. Like you were talking about farming. Farming's a great example of a solo activity, and those things have a time and a place. But for me, the whole reason I like MMOs and the MMO experience is the fact that I get to play with other people all around the world and continue to be able to interact with them. Like maybe that guy you saw running down the road during a PQ that you healed ends up being a really fantastic player later on down the line, and because you helped them out, it's kind of like paying it forward. It's kind of like whenever I had to try to get my mount on the room priest, you're like, hey, yeah, and you helped me out, and then later on, I helped my buddy Chester out, and he got his mount. It's just those kind of interactions you can't get without trying to be a part of the community. So if you're solo all the time, find a good group of people to play with. Those people you hang out with in scenarios, or you see them a lot, send them a whisper. Become friends. It's a social game. It's not meant to be a solo experience.
And
you know?
I'll take that as a chance to say this, that on my streams I always say to people that are watching it, there's always an open invitation to come on Discord. There's always an open invitation to party up with me and play, because I'm trying to say that to people, because we have a lot of new young players in age young that they go in, they want to have a high DPS and they keep playing solo. I'm trying to bring them into the community and share and play.
Yeah, definitely. And
Okay,
somebody
and
brought something up in the chat if you want to speak to that.
I'm trying. Yeah, First Ad says that outside of the weapons, there's no incentive for healers to do scenarios because the gear is DPS, which is true if you're a healer.
Well, it's true and it's not true because with the Rune Priest and the Zealot, they have the ability to basically contort the stats to make them work for their healing class. It's not always the best in slot gear, but it's still good gear for if you want to, be doing scenarios.
I think as far as I know, it doesn't matter whether you have DPS gear or healing gear on a Rune Priest. You just switch with a button to, if you have the DPS set, you can just press the button, you become healing, so it's not an issue. But if you're a warrior priest or an archmage, it does make a difference there. So,
Healshot, definitely makes a
since you play Rune Priest, right? And I consider that to be your main class, and I think you consider that to be your main class as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What type of tips would you give to people that are listening to us right now? They are new to the game and they want to make a healer and they picked Rune Priest.
Well, first thing you're gonna have to learn is you're gonna die a lot. This thing that we've talked about before, Fixer.
Yeah.
If you're playing this game like you're playing Counter-Strike with a kill-death ratio, and you're playing a healer, you might as well not play a healer. And the biggest tip that I'll give you as a healer: don't always worry about yourself. If you're gonna die, at least throw out some hots or some heals to your group, because they matter more than you do. Believe it or not, the Rune Priest in your party is a sacrificial lamb that's going to get the main brunt of all DPS. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, you want a tip? I'm just taking the piss, but yeah, if you're a healer and you want to survive, come and stand next to me.
There you go.
People
get somebody to watch your back.
Yeah, no, people are gonna switch to me. So, do you think that the game right now is better than live?
I think there are some definite interesting changes and attempted balance fixes. For me, it's been so long ago, it's hard to compare the two.
Okay.
It's kind of like going back in time and reliving the first MMO that you ever played. You can remember it fondly, but if you haven't, like, if I played live like yesterday and then I play it this server now, and I can have a better understanding of all the changes, because reading stuff on, like, somebody told me that I should read more of the patch notes on the forum. That's a lot of information to digest, and seeing things in practice is better for me because I'm a visual learner.
Yeah, I don't do that either. I mean, I read whenever I can, and then I sit on the game. People, that's why sometimes I say that this is how it feels in the game. For me, it's important how it feels in the game. I don't care what the stats say or something else.
No, it's all about
I'm feeling it in the game.
way you play.
Yeah, people say,
Yeah.
"Oh, they adjusted this. Now I'm doing less damage." I'm like, "No, you're not, because in game, they gave you this ability, so that goes there and that does that." So right, so we answered that one. So I can ask you about the classes because you don't remember live.
Well, I remember it, but it's a hard comparison because there are so many different changes. Like, something that I might see as a change on this server could have been on live, because I left right after LOTD released because I was not really disgruntled, but I pretty much saw the writing on the wall, especially after Mark left the company, or got fired, and the direction of the game wasn't where I was wanting it to go.
Well, we have some different opinions on the chat here. I'm just gonna read a couple for you. Live is better than Return of Reckoning. Another player says live equals dead. The same player says, which is Shamikaze84, says something that's still playable beats pants off something that isn't.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Buxnaya says, I'd rather have dead live than this monstrosity. So as you can see, guys, the opinions of the players vary from one end to the other.
And that's the beautiful thing. There's
Definitely.
a great thing called choice. It's called choice. Like, you can choose to play it or you don't choose to play it. And believe it or not, I think we've talked about this before, Fixer. There is another server out there if you want to give it a go. But
True. So what do you think of the new content that the devs put on since you started? Which actually reminds me, how long you been playing Return of Reckoning?
I actually came back right before 2 times a week, and I was playing a little bit before 2 times a week. I originally signed up for the server when it was in like basically the beginning stages back in 2014, and I kind of just let it sit because I was like, you know what, this isn't ready, this isn't that playable. I'm gonna let it sit and like work out all the kinks and stuff, because it was pretty bad when the game first started.
I came in
pretty much unplayable.
Yeah, I came in the first week the server opened, and then I stopped, and then I came back about 6 months later, and I'll be playing for about 2 years now. So do you like the new content they brought out? The new content as in, Fortress, Invader, Vanquisher.
Oh yeah.
The new scenario, Thunder Valley. What else? That's the things I can do.
Well, for me, Thunder Valley is a PvE flag hump fest. I really don't enjoy that scenario. I think it needs to be retooled, because it doesn't, like, people can bark all day that it's still competitive. It's about capping flags and killing people. But at the same time, the way I've seen strategy work, while I've been playing it, is people just ignore fighting. They go for flags, they'll turtle up in a group and go, and it doesn't make for an engaging scenario. Like, for me, a scenario is about a push and pull, a tug of war. That's what makes a good scenario.
For me, Thunder Valley is, I wouldn't class it as a scenario in the classical way. For me, Thunder Valley is a training ground for fortresses. It uses the same techniques, the same strategies that you have to do in stage 1, capturing the flags and moving around. Have you been to a fort, by the way?
Oh, I haven't actually got to participate in the fort.
Right,
I kind of got
in fort, in
crapped
stage,
on a couple of them. Yeah.
in stage 2, there's 5 flags in the yard of the keep, so you have to go and pick them up and control them. The more you control, the faster the door goes down. So you have to do exactly the same thing that you're doing with 5 flags in Thunder Valley. For me, is a training ground for people to learn to move as a group and capture the flags for the fortress.
I can definitely see that because I remember doing fortresses on live and doing city pushes.
But I agree with you. Scenarios are about 12 versus 12, back and forth, kill and do that. But that scenario, I class it as a training ground for fortress because people go to the fortress and they lose very fast because they don't know that rotation. Thunder Valley, I think, gives you that opportunity to do a little bit of practice. Right, okay, that was like part of my general questions about the game and you. So now I want to ask you a couple of things about your stream. Right, so I know you play Return of Reckoning lately. You said you started lately to play it. But are you a new streamer in general, or have you been streaming before this game and you have experience into it?
I've been streaming since 2011, back when Twitch was just on TV.
Wow, that's a lot of years.
This is gonna be my, if my math is correct, this will be my 9th year streaming on Twitch.
Wow.
Coming up in July.
I'm in the presence of a streaming legend. I've only been streaming for like 2 months. No, I enjoy your stream though. I try and go to everybody's streams and watch them. I learn a lot and I enjoy it as well. You see so many different styles, For example, I don't have a camera. People have cameras. People have different musics, different play styles. People, do commentary. Some people don't. So, yeah, but you have the experience because when I see you on the camera, sorry for interrupting you there. When I see you on the camera where I'm in your stream, you are feeling comfortable in front of the camera because I watch other people. And I put myself in that category as well. They don't feel very comfortable on the camera. They just do it because the stream, with inverted commas, demands a webcam. I still don't feel comfortable. That's why I don't have it on.
Yeah. Well, for me, because I started my streaming off not having a camera, I'm kind of I got warmed up to the idea about 2.5 years in that a camera's a good thing. It gives people the ability to like put a face with the voice, and it also gives you the ability to like extend your comedy and your entertainment, because that's what we are. We're entertainers first, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to entertain people, let them escape reality for a few minutes out of their day. Maybe I do something funny and contort my face, like when I'm falling off a mountain or something like that. It's just, it gives an extra dimension to your stream. And like I said, it's just one of those 50-50 shots. There's some days where I'm just having a day where I just, I want to be reserved and be myself, and maybe I'm just not as boisterous that day, and then maybe I don't want to put the camera on that day. It's that flexibility that you have as a entertainer to, pretty much you run the show, so you can do it whatever way you want,
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. And I want to put a camera on, but I just need to get a decent one, because the one I have right now, it doesn't have a good resolution, and when you put it on, the only thing you can see is my eyes. It doesn't zoom out. So it's a bit shit. But anyways, moving on. So all these years, right? So you've been doing other games, other projects on your streams, because you said you've been streaming for a lot of years. But the question is, now that you're playing Return of Reckoning, do you stream other games? Because I know some people do something like, Monday Counter-Strike, Wednesday Return of Reckoning. Do you have a rotating schedule? Do you do other things, or you just focus on one game?
Well, for me, I like to focus on one game at a time. But with Warhammer, because it's new, it's going to take me a while before I'll switch to another game and play a lot. But I do enjoy another game that just came out. It's called The Division 2. I play it a lot off stream, but for me, I don't know. Warhammer's been that dark mistress that rears its ugly head, and she gets her hooks in you. And that's why I've came back to Warhammer and hit it with full force, because I played it, like I said, all the way up till a little bit after LOTD release, and it was my main game. It was fun. It it was the only game that I felt like that I could play to a degree that not only was I competitive, but I really enjoyed the competitiveness of it. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
love it.
Because it wasn't the pressure. Basically, you know how some games they give you that pressure to want to level and do this. I
Mm.
didn't feel that pressure when I played Warhammer. I thought I could get comfortable, get in a nice groove, and it just had a really welcoming community. Like the
That's the
Warhammer
best.
community in general was the best thing, the best community I believe besides Final Fantasy. Those are the top two MMO communities for me. As far as coming together, sharing information, just the general love of not only Games Workshop itself, but the game that we all wanted to play, which was Warhammer. And Paul Barnett was instrumental in making me want to play the game even more.
No, I love it. And the other thing is, the more you play, the levels will come. You just have fun, and then you level up. That's the important thing for me, to have fun. And I've never chased, renown ranks, career ranks, or anything like that. But the other thing is, as a streamer, right, and as a person, you also have the ability, like, okay, I don't feel like playing, my NG today. I'll play Rune Priest. I'll play an Ironbreaker. I'll play Slayer. There's so many classes, so you never get bored.
No,
And
you
you
don't.
keep them
You
on
don't.
like different tiers as well, so you go through all of it again and all that. If you're playing something like Division 2 or Counter Strike or any other team of that type, or Apex, that's really like popular right now, you still have like 5 classes to pick from, but effectively it's the same game. They have pretty much the same skills. Press the trigger, you kill. One will stealth, one will have a grappling hook, but it's very limited. It's pretty much the same. But here, the versatility is too big, and I like that.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that, because let's say I don't feel like healing that day, I can switch up to a tank, or maybe like what happened on yesterday's stream with me and Alpaca. He had a friend that wanted to level up, so I rolled a new tune and I could have the new tune experience. That's the beauty of Warhammer. There's so many different ways you can play it. You can play it PvE, you can play it PvP, you can just sit around and craft. There's just a lot of facets to the game. You could just go out and scroll hunt, or you could just go out and hunt Easter eggs or trophies, or there's just so many things you can do with Warhammer, and it's been hard for other games to compete with it when it came to like rewarding you for exploration. That's the biggest thing that caught my eye when I played Warhammer, was all the exploration you could do.
And I'll tell you another thing. There's a lot of people that, they get caught in, oh, I need to level. If you just one day you're really bored, grab a beer or a cup of coffee, whatever is your favorite drink, get your mount, go to an area and just walk to the PvE areas. The scenery and, the mountains, the rivers are amazing. There's so much depth to it that people lose it because they just stick to the RVR lakes. So that's an advice, guys. Go have a look around when you're bored. I think you will really enjoy what you're gonna find out there. Healshot, so when do you stream? I mean, if people come to your Twitch, guys, today is one of those days. On your Twitch stream channel, is there a schedule they can see it?
I have a schedule. It's kind of tentative right now. I'm a full-time caregiver for my mother, so I have to stream when I can because I have to take care of her. Okay. So most of the time, I'll do a stream in the morning, and then I'll have a break, and then I'll do a stream at night. So usually you can catch me absolutely my 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every night except for Sundays. Sundays I try to take off. So it'll start at 8 and then it ends when it ends, until I feel like I'm done. So
that's fair
8
enough.
p.m.
Yep. Tell your times, of course.
Yeah, like I said, 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. So that's -5 GMT for all you European people.
That's fair enough, man. I'm gonna skip the next one because it says how long do you usually stream for, but do you stream? Yeah, you answer some questions. No, it's like a list of me to keep my mind on track, basically.
A short session for me is about 9 hours.
Mine is 4 hours. I think today I'm gonna keep it at 4 hours. When
Yeah.
the 4 hours are up, I'll see if the boss allows a few more hours.
Oh yeah.
So, do you stream in other platforms, or is it just Twitch?
I just stream on Twitch. I dipped my toes in the water in Mixer and Hitbox back in the day, and I mean those are both great platforms, but they don't have the audience that you can reach with Twitch because Twitch is a household name now. I mean, it's on CNN, it's on all the major news outlets out there, and especially for smaller games like Warhammer. I don't believe any other platform could offer the exposure that Twitch gives the Warhammer community on Twitch.
And on this, let me just say this: I've read it somewhere, but I haven't verified it. But if you are a Twitch affiliate, you're not allowed to multi-stream, so you can't just stream at the same time on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, anything else you want. You have to wait 24 hours before you put Monday stream, the next day to other platforms. So be aware, guys, if you're trying to do that.
Yeah,
And,
you can't dual stream. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And there's a question there from OG Apocalypse that says, "What drove you both to start streaming?" Double interview by OG Apocalypse.
Yeah, double interview. I'll go first since I'm here.
Okay.
For me, streaming was a way to connect with people. It offered me the ability to take my quirky personality, some of my comedic timing, and conquer some fears of social awkwardness. Growing up, I had a close knit of friends that I would like hang out and joke with, but I never, you can be funny to your friends, but it's another thing whenever you put it to the test and do stand-up comedy or put yourself out there like you do on Twitch. It just verifies some of the narcissism you have about yourself, and it's kind of gratifying in that way. Because I mean, you have to be somewhat narcissistic to think people will want to watch you play a video game. I mean, it's just facts. It's not necessarily a main motivating factor, but it definitely plays a part in the attitude you have to have when it comes to streaming. You have to be a little bit self-aware, and for me, it gave me a chance to not only connect with people beyond where I live, but it also gave me the chance to hone my craft that is being an entertainer, and it gave me the chance to really connect with the community and try to affect it in a positive way. Because I was also tired of seeing communities of all this toxic, negative things. There's so much negative in this world that coming to a stream and it's somebody just being negative all the time, talking down to people. Like, none of that stuff ever really flies with me because unless you're a troll, then I like to give you shit about it because that's the thing to do to trolls. You don't feed them, but then you humiliate them because it's funny. But at the end of the day, the biggest reason why I started streaming was to have another form of connection with the outside world.
Okay. Sorry, it's interesting all the things you say. I'm just a little bit moved from the reasons you're mentioning got you into streaming. For my part, to tell you the truth, it's a lot simpler. I was doing a scenario, and there's another streamer that does occasionally Warhammer Online, and I did that scenario 700 and something damage. It's a ridiculous amount of damage, and the guy just whispers me and says, "Hey, dude, it's nice to see someone doing good damage, and especially above 500,000, something like that." Says, "Do you want the video?" And I'm like, "Okay, why not?" So I gave him the Discord. And I had the Discord to chat with my friends, and he gave me a link for Twitch. So I went there and checked the video out, and I've seen like, what the hell is Twitch? So I've seen there's other people streaming. I watched a couple of streams, and I thought to myself, "Oh, hold on, no one is doing enges. What's the story with the enges, So I said, this is something I can actually do. And I took it upon myself to promote, the game, first of all, the community, and, engineers. It's my favorite class. And I always felt since I started playing this game that like Order underestimates the effectiveness and utility of an NG, and Destro overestimates the power they have. And I got into it and I started doing it, and to build on what you said, the amount of love and support that I got from the community of Return of Reckoning was amazing. I mean, amazing. People just,
Yeah, it is.
you know, with support, questions, help me do this, fix that. You know, they would come to the channel, they would rate the channel. It's great. And after the first 2 or 3 weeks, I've started feeling even better because, you know, I'm trying to improve the stream, the graphics, and all that. You've seen what I've done today. And people respond to that and really give you strength. Say, okay, I'm doing something right. I'm doing something correct. People are liking this. People are liking that. Then, you know, the follows come in, the subscriptions come in, and all that. And to be honest, I don't really care if somebody subscribes or follows. But if you're just on the chat and you chat with me, I love the company. So right now there's like 33 people we are chatting with. Listening, few of them are chatting, which is cool by me. And I get to play every day. I play with different people. You know, one day will be Healshot in my stream and I'll play with him. The next day will be OG, Festad, Grungs play. You know, there's so many people. And I'm enjoying this versatility because if you go in the game sometimes, I hate the whole looking for group and I can now, I'll do it later, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, it also gave me the opportunity to help people. I like helping people. It's like, who said that earlier on, that I'm learning by watching you play the NG. So, yeah, I'm quite happy that actually I can help people play the game, give them advice, because I've been playing for like 2 years now. Kid Doc, okay, Kid Doc said that he learns how to play the NG by watching me, and it makes me feel good, you know, warm and fuzzy inside that actually can help somebody.
Yeah, exactly, because you're basically giving back to the community that's giving love to you. It's like this reciprocal relationship that you have not only with the Warhammer community, but with your Twitch community that you're building, because you're building your own subset, whether you like it or not, in the Warhammer universe with your stream. And before I forget, I gotta say this: if it wasn't for my buddy Crom, he came back and was streaming Warhammer, and I went, wow. I remember Return of Reckoning, so a big shout out to my boy Crom. He's the one that got me to basically come back, because I got to tune into his stream one night and saw that he was on this server, and I remembered that I had played on it before, and it sparked the passion and the fire back into me to come back and play. So big props to Crom. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I think I've seen him around. I think he doesn't do Return of Reckoning right now. He plays something else.
Oh, well, he's a big WoW fanatic like me.
Yeah, that's it.
WoW.
Yeah, I saw him today. He was playing WoW today. So,
Yeah,
Healshot. Yeah, go on.
Mm-hmm.
I was
that was pretty much
I was just gonna ask you, for your stream, do you have any like upcoming events or announcements you would like to take the opportunity to tell to people that are watching and listening?
Oh, I'm in the works right now with my artist. We're going to be coming out with some limited edition T-shirts for the summer. They're going to have some crazy stuff that's going to be Warhammer related. So definitely be on the lookout. We're going to try to have them up by, I think, probably June. We'll have up the new merch, and that's pretty much as far as like announcements goes. I'm just going to be playing as much as I can of Return of Reckoning, and I'll be giving out tutorials about healing and stuff like that, and try to give back to the community. And I'm also a coder, so I'm probably going to start doing some coding streams, so that way you guys can see how an add-on is developed specifically for a game like Warhammer. And I'm going to be making some add-ons for Warhammer, because I see where there's a lack of certain add-ons that we need, and things that I can improve on, because I want the game to run smoother. So if I want the game to run smoother, I'm going to have to code something that runs smoother.
Okay, 2 things from OG Apocalypse. One, it says that because of Healshot's stream, he changed from willpower stacking to heal crit on his character. And he says he wants a DPS meter. There are 2, by the way.
Yeah, there are 2. There's one built into enemy.
Yeah, and there's one you can get extra. However, you know what I would like if you're gonna get into that. I want to add-on that I can put here, so I can type on Warhammer's chat and actually go on Twitch's chat, so I don't have to switch windows. It creates lag when you switch windows.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen because of one thing and one reason only. You can't get the add-on to connect to an IRC server, and that's what Twitch chat runs on, which is IRC, and there's no way to hook into the IRC net socket in the API that Warhammer has.
Oh.
But it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
Okay, I got another two questions for you, and then I'm done with my questions. So if there's anything else from the people watching that want to ask, this is the time, guys, because we're coming to an end. First of the last two questions is, like on my stream I have Dwarven Gold, so people will gain that through time.
Oh yeah.
And then they can exchange it, for things like in my stream at least, getting VIP position or requesting songs and stuff like that. Do you have something similar on your stream that people can look forward to playing with and interacting with and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have something called Helium, which it's spelled heal, Heal, and then IUM, Helium, and you can spend it on gambling, fishing, and I'm actually in work. Yeah, fishing. You can actually fish in my channel. It's pretty cool.
I have duels and I have gambling like you do, but fishing, I have to look into that.
I have fishing, and the other thing that's going to be coming soon, I'm actually working with another company. Just recently got some sponsorships, and we're going to be doing things to where they can exchange their helium for loot crates and for other various products, like actual physical products. And you'll also be able to buy something called a stream loot box, to where not only will you support the stream, but you'll also get like little things that you can make me do on stream. So there's all kinds of weirdness coming, and it's stuff that I've been working on in the background for like 2 years now. So some of these things are finally coming to fruition. It just took a lot of hard work and dedication, and the biggest motivator for me to get all these things done was the Warhammer community. So I really want to thank the Warhammer community for coming out and supporting me and supporting all the streamers, especially guys like Fixer that are trying to give back to the community.
Thank you very much for that. But we'll try to do our bit. Devs are making the game. We're trying to bring the people in. We're trying to entertain people. We'll do what we can. So here's a final question from me. And definitely, right now I need to start saving up my helium, by the way. I have a bit, but with all this craziness coming...
Get some nice swag or a video card. I hear you, man.
I solved the problem with the chest, by the way, now that I remember. I didn't have to click on top of it, like a bit to the top right corner to pick it up. So I've seen that. So here's my last question for the interview, and if nobody else asks anything on the chat, we'll move on after this question to do a little bit of gameplay with Healshot. Do you have any tips you want to give to new streamers, to people that would like to come into the streaming community of Warhammer Online and give back a little bit?
I would say the biggest tip that I can give anybody when it comes to streaming is learn to talk to yourself. You're going to have to learn how to read quest text. You're going to have to learn how to have conversations with yourself, because you're not always going to have someone around to bounce things off of. So my biggest tip is learn to be comfortable with yourself. If you can be comfortable with yourself, you can be comfortable in a room full of one person or 1,000 people. So learn to be comfortable in your own skin. That's like the biggest tip. And the second one I would give you is be interactive. There's nothing worse than going into a stream and typing something to somebody and you don't get a response back within like 2 to 3 minutes. That's usually the biggest factor for me of whether or not I want to watch a stream, is if they acknowledge their audience, because you're here to entertain me. If I want to go watch a pro streamer, I'll go watch a pro streamer. But if I come to a smaller stream or even a medium-sized stream, I'm there for the activity. Yeah. Because I can just go watch Netflix and be entertained all day,
Definitely. So that was the last question. We covered a bit, like an hour and a bit. That's how much usually my interviews / chats last. At this point, I would like to thank you very much for coming on the stream, for having this interview with me. And I think we're gonna take like a 5-minute break so we can get our heads clear a little bit. And we're gonna be back with Healshot, and I'll see if I play Fixer or something else to do a little bit of gameplay on scenarios or VR, something like that. So, and we're also gonna roll a 2-headed coin and see whether we're gonna be doing Destro or we're gonna be doing Order. So, thank you again, Healshot, for being on the stream with me.
No problem, man. Aye, aye, aye.